In the last movie, we looked at how to install and run scripts. Now let me show you a few of my favorite scripts. These are all free scripts, so you don't have to worry about going out and buying them. In fact, you already have these because they ship with InDesign, even though most users don't even know about them. I'll show you. Under the Window menu, we'll choose Automation and then Scripts. That opens the Scripts panel. Right now, I have the Scripts panel open to the Samples folder, and inside the Samples folder, the JavaScript folder. And this shows me all of the sample JavaScripts, these JSX files, that ship with InDesign. InDesign ships with AppleScripts on the Mac or VBScripts on Windows, but I tend to use the JavaScripts because they run the same on both Mac and Windows. In the last movie, we looked at the Add Guide script. Now I'm going to jump down here to the crop mark script. I don't have time in these movies to explain every single one of these scripts, but go ahead and explore them, play with them, and see if they'll work for you. The crop mark script does exactly what you'd expect it to. It adds crop marks to any object that you have selected on your page. For example, I'll click on this background blue-green frame here, and I want to add crops around it. So I'm going to double-click on the crop marks script. It opens up the crop marks dialog box and gives me the option. Do I want crop marks or registration marks or both? I'll say I want big, really huge crop marks. That way it'll be easier to see on the screen here. And I better move these back a little bit, about 12 points back. Let's make these a little bit bigger, just so we can see them better. Move those back on the page. You can set this up any way you want to, whatever works for you. The last option is, do you want marks around every object in a selection or just the entire selection? In this case, I only have one object selected, so it doesn't really matter. It does the same thing. I'll click OK, and you can see that in just an instant, all of these crop marks or trim marks, whatever you want to call them, and registration marks appear on my page around this object. Very, very handy, very easy, saves a lot of time. Let me scroll down this a little bit farther. I'm just using the scroll wheel on my mouse to scroll through this list a little bit. And let me show you some other ones. Oh, Find Change by List. This is a good one. I'm just going to tell you what this does. I won't show it to you right now. Basically, if you do a series of find changes in a row, maybe you do 5 or 10 or 20 different find changes to a document in a row. For example, you search for all of the double spaces and replace with single spaces. You search for all the double hyphens and you change them to M dashes. And you do a bunch of those in a row. Well, it would be a lot easier to set it up as a script. And this script, this Find Change by List script, will do that for you. What you do is you open up the Find Change Support folder and Command click or Control click on Windows on that. It opens up the folder. Command clicking on anything in the scripts panel or control clicking on Windows will open that and select it inside the Finder or Windows Explorer. You double click on this and it gives you instructions for how to create the find changes in sort of a text scripting form. Don't worry, it's not scary. It's really easy to do. And once you do that, let me switch back to InDesign, then you can double click on this Find Change by List script and it will run through all of your find changes, that whole list of find changes in a row. It's so cool. Okay, let's look down here a little bit more. Make Grid. Make Grid is one of my favorite ones. Let's go ahead and make a big frame down here. I'm just using the Frame tool to make a big frame, and I want to split that big frame into smaller frames, into a grid of frames. That's what Make Grid is all about. When you double click on Make Grid, it says, how many frames do you want? Well, I'll say maybe 5 rows, maybe 3 columns. You can specify how much space you want in between them, what kind of frames you want, and so on. Click OK, and you can see that immediately that one frame has been broken down into a grid. And that is very cool. That's very helpful if you're doing maybe a whole page of ads and you want each of your ads to be the same size. Or you can also do it for special effects. I'm going to select this with the selection tool, select all of those, and then shift-click on the background to deselect that, and shift-click on this graphic back here to deselect that. Now I'll delete that because I want to show you a different trick. I'm going to select this and Option-drag it down, or Alt-drag with Windows, to make a duplicate of it, and then I'm going to Command-Shift-drag on a corner handle, or Control-Shift-drag on Windows on a corner handle to scale it up. Now I'm going to use that to make my grid. I'll say Make Grid just by double-clicking on it. I'll say, well, let's make this a 3x3 grid. Click OK, and you can see that InDesign has split this one image into a bunch of images. Now I could actually come in here and move these around if I want to. You can see they're all independent. This is handy when you need some kind of special effect on your page. Just good thing to know about. Let's look at some of these other ones in the scripts panel. Let's jump down here. Oh, place multi-page PDF. It's another one I'll tell you about instead of showing you. If I double-click on that, it will ask me for a PDF file. If I choose a PDF file that has more than one page in it, InDesign will actually create a new document and place each page of the PDF on a different page of the InDesign document. And a lot of printers need this because people send them PDF files and they need to place them inside of InDesign files for one reason or another. So that's a great script to know about. Let's see, what else is in there? Split story. I love this one. Let me click on this text frame, and you can see that because in the View menu I have text threads turned on, you can see that this text frame is linked to this one, which is linked to this one. They're threaded together. Well, a lot of people need to split these up into separate text frames, and you can do that by double-clicking on Split Story. That takes any thread of frames, even if they go from one page to another. I will double-click on this. There we go. And now we have 3 independent frames. It's as simple as that. If you don't need that kind of feature, well, you don't need that script, but a lot of people find that incredibly helpful. There's so many other scripts here that I want to share with you. Sort paragraphs. Sort paragraphs is an alphabetizer. If you have a bunch of paragraphs that need to be alphabetized, use sort paragraphs. Or perhaps the paragraphs are numbered, but they're in the wrong order. Sort paragraphs will put them in the proper order. Things like that. Some folks don't like the idea of running scripts, thinking they're somehow dangerous or something. But as you can see, these scripts are super powerful, very safe to use, and they're only a double click away.